Welcome, Fantasy Pros. I'm Andrew Erickson, and today I'm going to be talking about my 10 must-have draft players in 2023 fantasy football drafts. But before I get to my list, if you want a chance to win a signed Odell Beckham Jr. Baltimore Ravens jersey, courtesy of bettingpros.com, your place to start betting smarter and not harder, all you need to do is subscribe to the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel right now, comment below in this video, and that's it. We'll be announcing a winner right here on the channel, so make sure to turn on those notifications so you can be alerted when new episodes are up and to claim your prize. Now, let's get to the must-draft list. Number 10, quarterback Deshaun Watson, Cleveland Browns. Watson is by far the cheapest quarterback that can finish inside the top 5 that you can draft in fantasy football. He's been a top 5 fantasy quarterback every single year he's played at least 15 games. He's averaged nearly 30 rushing yards per game last year and had flash rushing thus far throughout the preseason. Among the 7 quarterbacks who rushed for at least 30 rushing yards per game last year, Justin Fields, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts, Daniel Jones, Josh Allen, Marcus Mariota, and Kyler Murray, only Murray failed to crack the top 10 in fantasy points per dropback. 5 finished inside the top 5 fantasy scoring quarterbacks on a per dropback basis. And as bad as Watson was as a thrower in 2022, there's a glimmer of hope from one particular metric. He showed he could still be very efficient throwing the ball at the intermediate level, 10 to 19 yards downfield. That tends to be stickier statistic year over year. His 69% completion rate on those throws ranked second best in the NFL. His yards per attempt also ranked second. Joe Burrow ranked first in both those categories in 2021. Running back Rachaad White, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Rachaad White's rookie season saw him flash legitimate 3-down upside in the Buccaneers offense. Despite working in a timeshare with Leonard Fournette, White was able to average 11 fantasy points per game as the RB26 and operate as the 1A back in the second half of the season despite averaging just 4 yards per carry. In his one spot start without Fournette in the lineup, Week 12 versus the Cleveland Browns, White went 14 for 64 rushing, 9 for 45 on 9 targets receiving. He totaled a 90% snap share on offense. List of rookie running backs to earn a 90% snap share in a game last year. Rachaad White. That's the list. The last rookie running back to see a 90% snap share under a Bruce Arians team, David Johnson. White also started every game from Week 10 onward, even with Fournette back in the lineup in all but one game. The Buccaneers running back posted a 62% RB2 finisher rate as a starter over the rest of the season. And during his limited preseason action, we got more elite bell cow usage. 100% of the snaps with the starters. White is the easiest click in the later rounds of fantasy football drafts. Even in games where the Buccaneers are getting stomped, be confident that White will vacuum up targets with his pass-catching skill set. Baker Mayfield threw to running backs at 19.1% target frequency last season, top 10 among quarterbacks. Number 8, wide receiver Diontae Johnson, Pittsburgh Steelers. Johnson is slated for a massive bounce-back campaign in 2023. He didn't score last year, which is likely a fluke, and that's being held against him. Even though Diontae Johnson ranked 5th in total targets, 7th in receptions, and 9th in target share over the past 3 seasons. His ability to command targets based on his 28% target share and 7th ranked 137 targets last season suggests he's a prime candidate for positive regression in many facets. His combined downfield targets and red zone targets were the most of any player to not score last season. Those trends don't tend to carry over from year to year. Buy low on the wide receiver 14 expected fantasy points per game from last season. His wide receiver 33 ADP is downright insulting. Number 7, tight end Darren Waller, New York Giants. By far, my favorite tight end to draft is Waller. He's my number 3 ranked tight end because becoming the number 1 pass catching option for a team as a tight end is a rare feat. There's only a handful of teams that feature such a player, with the Giants being the newest to join the list after their acquisition of the ex-Raiders tight end. Waller showed that when he was healthy last year, he could still deliver, ranking 2nd in the NFL in yards per reception and 10th in yards per route run. Waller the baller still has plenty left in the tank. And if the preseason usage is any indication of his ceiling, the only thing stopping Waller from being the tight end 1 in 2023 is related to health. With Daniel Jones at quarterback, Waller posted a 50% target rate per route run in the preseason. 4 targets on 9 Daniel Jones passes. He got the first 3 passes from the get-go. 44% target share, wheels up for Darren Waller in 2023. Number 6, wide receiver DK Metcalf, Seattle Seahawks. Why draft DK Metcalf? More like, why not draft a 25-year-old wide receiver with a body sculpted like a Greek god? Over the last 2 seasons, Metcalf ranked 6th in target share at 27%. He's missed a grand total of 0 games during his 4-year career. His 25 end zone targets led all wide receivers last season. 10th in expected fantasy points per game and 7th in total expected fantasy points overall per fantasy points. Last year, career highs in targets and receptions. He's averaged nearly 9 receiving touchdowns per season since entering the NFL. he has an insane ceiling that not enough people are talking about because of how underrated Tyler Lockett is. Well, Lockett is entering his age 31 season. The future is now, and the stage is set for Metcalf to go nuclear, with rookie Jackson Smith-Njigba slated to miss time to start the year. Metcalf's weekly ceiling was realized with Geno Smith in the wildcard round when he went off for 136 yards on 10 catches with 2 touchdowns on 13 targets. Draft alpha wide receivers like DK Metcalf. Number 5, running back Travis Etienne Jr., Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jags RB1 proved himself to be a great fantasy asset last year, averaging 15 fantasy points per game from weeks 7 through 17 as the RB8, finishing tied for 5th in carries inside the 10-yard line despite only scoring 4 touchdowns on those carries. Etienne ended the year with over 1,400 yards from scrimmage, averaging 5.1 yards per carry in 19 games played. He finished 4th in total forced missed tackles, trailing only Josh Jacobs, Nick Chubb, and Derrick Henry. And all that was despite Etienne suffering a foot injury that knocked him out of a Week 12 contest versus the Baltimore Ravens. Simply put, Etienne posted a Jonathan Taylor-esque rookie season in his first NFL year. And head coach Doug Peterson thinks his stud rusher hasn't even hit his ceiling, suggesting he could rush for 1,600 plus yards in 2023. He's a super explosive rusher who shouldn't be ignored due to the presence of a third-rounder in Tank Bigsby. In the Jags' final preseason game, Etienne played 65% of the snaps, saw 100% of the snaps on 3rd down, 4th down, and in short yardage. He scored from inside the 3-yard line after Bigsby fumbled on an early drive in the end zone. Fantasy football doesn't have to be hard. Draft Etienne in round 4 and win your league. Number 4, quarterback Lamar Jackson, Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson has a chance to absolutely break fantasy football in 2023 if the added wide receiver weapons and the new passing game under offensive coordinator Todd Monken take flight. Remember, when Jackson played with a healthy Rashad Bateman last year, again, just one functioning wide receiver, Jackson averaged nearly 27 points per game. That average would have ranked first among all quarterbacks scoring over the past 3 seasons. However, it still wouldn't have been as good as Lamar was during his MVP year, when he scored more points per game than any other fantasy quarterback ever. I give you permission to draft Lamar Jackson at the round 3-4 turn. Number 3, wide receiver Amon-Ra St. Brown, Detroit Lions. The Sun God is one of my favorite draft targets in round 2. His 32% target rate per route run trailed only Tyreek Hill last season. With no Jameson Williams and a slate of favorable defensive matchups, there'll be no stopping the burn from the Sun God to open the year. From weeks 8 through 18 last year, St. Brown averaged 80 receiving yards per game, 7 receptions, and 17 PPR points. And since week 12 of the 2021 season, dating back to last year and 2 years ago, Amon-Ra St. Brown ranks 1st in target rate per route run, 2nd in total receptions, 3rd in first downs, and 5th in overall targets. Get this man a life jacket because he's going to be drowning in targets in 2023. Number 2, running back Tony Pollard, Dallas Cowboys. With Ezekiel Elliott no longer on the roster, Tony Pollard will have the opportunity to take over as the team's lead back. Last season, he finished as the RB7 in fantasy, despite ranking outside the top 25 in touches per game. He was top 12 running back in 40% of his games, which ranked 8th best. Pollard's efficiency was on full display as he averaged 5.3 yards per carry, was the 3rd highest graded running back per PFF. From weeks 7 through 16, Pollard was the highest scoring running back in fantasy football, 19.3 points per game while playing at least 53% of the team's snaps. He has little to no established running back competition between the likes of Deuce Vaughn, Rico Dowdle, and Malik Davis, and the fears of Ezekiel Elliott returning to Dallas have been erased with him signing in New England. Pollard is also playing on the franchise tag, which means the team can run him into the ground with zero long-term investment in him. Number 1, running back Nick Chubb, Cleveland Browns. Nick Chubb quietly amassed an impressive 1,500-yard season and 13 touchdowns in 2022, finishing as the RB6 overall with the top 10 running back rush share at 57%. From weeks 1 through 12, he was the RB4 overall and in points per game. With Deshaun Watson expected to raise the ceiling of the Browns offense with a full offseason back to football, Chubb's fantasy production should remain one of the most consistent throughout the season, making him a near bust-proof draft pick. He's played in 75 of 82 games during his 5-year NFL career. Best availability is availability. And last season alone, Chubb was one of just 3 running backs to finish inside the top 36 in every single game, along with Christian McCaffrey and Austin Eckler. He's the betting market's favorite to lead the NFL in rushing yards, and he runs behind an elite offensive line. Additionally, with the departure of Kareem Hunt, Chubb could see an increase in targets. He demonstrated this ability in this area with a strong Week 18 performance last year, playing a season-high 75% snap share, running route on 71% of the dropbacks, catching 5 of 6 targets for 45 yards. Chubb finished Week 18 as the RB1 overall. Unproven 2022 fifth rounder Jerome Ford is currently pegged as the number 2 running back, but he has missed most of the preseason with an injury. It's time for Nick Chubb to smash. And that's going to conclude my must-have players to draft in 2023, my top 10 list. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a like, subscribe, and share with all your friends. Again, before you go, if you want to win a signed Odell Beckham Jr. Baltimore Ravens jersey, courtesy of bettingpros.com, you can subscribe to the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel right now. Comment below in this video, and that's it. I'll be announcing a winner right here on the channel, so turn on those notifications so you can claim your prize.